Hey Jaguars, welcome to our celebration of Read Across America Week. This is Tuesday, and on this Tuesday, I'm asking you guys to submit your favorite books that match our theme for the day, which is Tuesday Tall Tales. So if you want to go to the library's website, you can find the display and click on the link to submit one of your favorite books from the fantasy, sci-fi, or adventure genres, and I will shout you out on the library Instagram page. To celebrate this day, I also wanted to share a read aloud with you guys of one of my favorite tall tales. This is a picture book that is a retelling of a Mexican legend. You guys might have heard of this book before. It's been out for a few years. It's called The Princess and the Warrior by Duncan Tonatiuh. I love this author. He has this really unique way of illustrating his books. He's the illustrator as well. So you can see they're the characters are drawn in a really unique kind of way. This author, Duncan Tonatiuh, if you like this book, it is available on Mac and Via if you wanted to go look at it yourself. He also has a bunch of other titles, different books that he's written that are picture books. Most of them are nonfiction, so he's telling true stories through his books, through his words. But you can just search for Duncan Tonatiuh. I'll spell that for you guys at the end on Mac and Via to see. I think we have all of his picture books actually available. All right, so to celebrate Tuesday Tall Tales, I'm going to read to you guys this story, The Princess and the Warrior. So like I said, this is a retelling of a Mexican folk tale or legend about the creation of a volcano that exists in the country of Mexico today. The Princess and the Warrior. I love this story. The Princess and the Warrior, a tale of two volcanoes by Duncan Tonatiuh. Once upon a time, there lived a kind and beautiful princess named Itza. Even though she was the daughter of an emperor, she loved to spend time with the people who grew corn in the milpas. She liked to teach them poetry, or flor y canto. Suitors traveled from distant lands to woo her. I'm trying to get the pictures right here. They presented her with rare and lavish gifts, such as quetzal feathers and turquoise necklaces. They would all say the same thing. You are the most beautiful maiden in the land. Marry me, please, princess, and you will live in my luxurious palace. You won't have to spend time in the fields ever again. No, thank you, Itza would reply. She was not interested in any of the suitors or their gifts. One day, a warrior named Popoka came to see her. Princess, I know you have a kind and beautiful heart, for I have seen you teaching flor y canto to the villagers in the milpas. I don't have expensive gifts to offer, but if you marry me, I promise that I will love you for who you are. I will stay by your side no matter what, as long as Tonatiuh rises, as long as the sensotle bird sings. Popoco's words were music to Itza's ears. She could hear the honesty in his voice, and she fell in love with him. The emperor did not want his daughter to marry a mere soldier. He wanted her to marry a wealthy and powerful Lotani, a ruler. But he knew that Popoco was the best and bravest warrior in his kingdom. The emperor and his people had been at war with Jaguar Claw, the Totlani of a neighboring land, for years, and there seemed to be no end in sight. He called Popoca to him. Popoca, the emperor said, if you defeat Jaguar Claw once and for all, I will let you marry my daughter Itza. Popoca and Itza were overjoyed. Popoca gathered his most courageous men and marched to war. Popolka fought bravely, fought numerous battles. He and his men were injured and almost defeated many times. But when the end seemed near, Popolka would always think of Itza, waiting for his return. He would defend himself with his chimale, attack with his machatul, and inspire his men to fight with even more courage than before. Slowly, the tide turned, and Popolka and his men began winning battles. It was clear that they would soon defeat Jaguar Claw. Realizing this, Jaguar Claw devised a plan to steal from Popolka what the warrior cherished the most. He bribed one of Popolka's personal messengers. Tell Itza that Popolka has been killed and offer her this potion, Octley, to soothe her grief. Everything is lost, princess, the messenger said sadly when he arrived at the palace. Popolka and his men fought bravely, but they were defeated and killed. No! That cannot be, cried Itza. She locked herself in her chamber and wept, and refused to eat or speak with anyone. That night, the messenger came to her room. I know your heart is shattered, as if it were made of obsidian glass, he said. But here, take this drink, princess, and it will help you to ease your grief. Itza took the potion and drank it all. Lying down on her petlado, she fell into a deep sleep. Can't get this right. The next day, before night fell and the first Sitlali appeared in the sky, Popolka defeated Jaguar Claw. Unaware of the lies the messenger had told, the great warrior and his troops marched back to the palace in triumph, ready to share the good news with the princess and the emperor. But when they arrived, they were met with disbelief. Popolka, said the emperor, one of your messengers told us that you were dead. Itza was heartbroken. She took a special Oakley to ease her pain, and now we cannot wake her. This can't be true, said Popolka. Itza, my beautiful princess, has to awaken. He ran to her chamber. He kissed her and held her in his arms. He called out her name over and over, but Itza did not wake up. Cool air will surely revive her, Popolka told the emperor. He carried Itza through the throngs of villagers who wept as they passed, past the milpas and all through the night to the top of Etepetlo. He laid her on a sulkshil bed. He knelt down beside her. The cool mountain air soon turned to snow, but still the princess did not wake up. Popolka refused to move. He stayed next to Itza, just as he had promised when he first met her. As long as Tonatiuh rises, as long as a Sinsotle bird sings. In time, where once there was a princess with her true love by her side, two volcanoes emerged. One is known as Itza or Sleeping Woman. The other one is known as Popocatépetl, or Smoky Mountain. Itza continues to sleep, but Popocatépetl spews ashes and smoke from time to time as if attempting to wake his sleeping princess. And that's it. There is, if you wanted to check this book out on Mac and Via or check it out from our library, there is a really interesting author's note at the back that gives the true history of this language and of the two volcanoes of which the story was written about. I'm going to show you guys those last pictures just one last time. So this is where the idea of the mountains, or of the two, Popoco and Itza, turning into the volcanoes, comes in. So you can kind of see how this legend came to be, which I think is really interesting. So that was our Tuesday Tall Tale book that I wanted to share with you guys, The Princess and the Warrior. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know it was a little sad, but a nice story based on a true legend, which I think is really cool. So Duncan Tonatiuh, once again, one of my favorite picture book authors. Sorry, I know the lighting is weird. But if you wanted to look him up, like I said, we have a lot of his books on Mac and Via. So you can read some more stories that he has written and illustrated if you're interested. All right, thank you guys for joining me, and thank you for helping me celebrate Read Across America Week. I will be back tomorrow with another book and another read aloud for you guys. All right, see you then. Bye, everyone.